What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of The Comic Zone. With the release of the massively disappointing Fantastic Four movie, I was thinking, how do you make a good Fantastic Four movie? Because in my mind, it shouldn't be that difficult. We've had 50 plus years of amazing Fantastic Four stories, yet the movies, all four of them, yes, I'm counting the Roger Corman one, have been completely crappy. So what does it take to actually make an awesome Fantastic Four movie? The first one is the actual origin. Now, most people know about the classic origin. They go off into space, they get hit by cosmic rays, they get their powers. Nice and simple to understand. Thing is, 2015, that's a little bit too simple, and that's why in the Ultimate comic books, for example, that's why they went with the whole teleportation accident, and the new movie also went with it. But the actual explanation, which I talked about in a previous video, it's a little bit complicated for people to understand. So I would actually propose the origin of them getting their powers in space, but don't take the original one from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Use the one from Heroes Reborn. What's Heroes Reborn, Tony? I'm glad you asked me that. Heroes Reborn took place after the Onslaught saga, and it had all the heroes placed in a pocket dimension. It's pretty complicated, but what you need to know is that you had pretty much reworked origins of the characters. Now in this one, the Fantastic Four went off into space after they found an anomaly, and it turned out that the anomaly was the Silver Surfer. And when he came through, the radiation he put out because of the power cosmic and because of bombs set off by Dr. Doom, we'll get to him later, this caused the Fantastic Four to gain their powers. Now what's cool about this origin is that it not only sets up the Silver Surfer, but it sets up Galactus for a later movie. So if you're gonna go with an origin, I would actually suggest you do that. With that said, however, I suggest you don't focus on the actual origin if you make another Fantastic Four movie. You can have it in flashbacks like you did with Man of Steel, but do not focus 90% of the movie on it. We've had that already. Move on. All right, the next thing the movie needs to get right is the fact that the Fantastic Four are not superheroes. Yes, they have colorful costumes. Well, they have very blue costumes, but they're not superheroes at all. They're science heroes. The whole thing that Mark Waid came up with in his run, Imaginauts, that's what this movie needs to focus on. So even though they may look like it, the Fantastic Four are not actually superheroes. Yeah, they save the world every other Tuesday before breakfast, but they aren't actually in the superhero business. The team is actually explorers. Reed Richards is the smartest man on earth. He's always discovering things that tend to go wrong, and the team needs to fix them. So another Fantastic Four movie should really focus on the fact that these guys explore places that are unknown to mankind, different dimensions, different alternate realities, all this really cool stuff that jostles the imagination. Now, a trip into the negative zone, the actual negative zone, not that Planet Zero stuff. That would be pretty cool because the landscape is always shifting and has these weird kaleidoscope type colors constantly moving around. That sort of stuff we need to see in a movie. A movie that you go in there, they're exploring all this cool stuff and you're like, holy crap, I've never seen this. This is amazing. The Fantastic Four needs to have that sense of awe and wonder. So let's not focus on superhero battles. You can still have that, but that shouldn't be the main focus. The main focus should really be on discovering really cool new worlds and new crazy concepts. Basically, if they could capture some of that Kirby magic in a movie, that would be cool. Alright, so in most superhero movies, the heroes are outcasts or they're super soldiers. A Fantastic Four movie should play on the fact that these guys are celebrities. People love them. The Fantastic Four movies from the mid-2000s, they actually had this. They kind of bumbled it, but they did have this aspect because it's actually pretty important. Now, if you have the Fantastic Four be celebrities, it's going to make the movie naturally a little bit lighthearted, but that's okay considering the fact that nobody liked the dark tone of the new movie. And let's face it, people like lighthearted superhero movies. Look at Marvel. I'm not saying all their movies are lighthearted, but most of them have a kind of light tone to them and people gravitate towards that stuff. And like I said before, having the Fantastic Four be celebrities immediately distinguishes them from every other superhero type team out there. Definitely need to play this aspect up. The next thing is the family dynamic. This is something that needs to be the central core of the movie. Remember, this isn't a team that's brought together by fate or some weird circumstances. They're a family, and this really needs to be nailed down. Now, obviously with a family, they bicker, they squabble, they get into fight, but when it actually counts, they all come together and work with each other to overcome whatever obstacles are in front of them. The movie needs to let audiences know that these larger-than-life characters actually care about one another, and this will actually make the audiences more sympathetic towards them. They'll see the Fantastic Four as actually being relatable. And of course, there's also the nice message that if you got your family behind you, you can accomplish anything. Now, the last thing these movies need to get right, and the most important thing, is Dr. Doom. Doom is arguably the best villain out there, but he's been horribly horribly handled in these films. I mean, when the freaking Avengers cartoon, Avengers Assemble, does a way better job of representing Doom, you know something's going wrong. Doom's supposed to be menacing, cunning, and larger than life for him to be a really effective and awe-inspiring villain. The type of villain he's supposed to be. He shouldn't be a freaking crash test dummy. I like the whole aspect of Doom actually being college roommates with Reed Richards because it establishes a link between them. That's something that the movie really should have. But more important than that, Doom needs to be the ruler of his own nation, Latveria. One of the things that makes Doom an interesting villain is that he can't be arrested because of diplomatic immunity. This makes it harder for him to answer for his crimes, not only because the US government can't easily arrest a foreign head of state, but because the Fantastic Four, who are American citizens, would cause an international incident by violating Latveria's sovereignty if they went in there to capture Doom. With all that said, however, I wouldn't make Dr. Doom the first villain that the Fantastic Four face in their movie. You could set him up in the first movie, but you could really pay him off later on. Remember, in the comics, Dr. Doom was not the first person they ever fought. He came a little bit later. So I think the movie should do that. Bring him in later. You don't need him now, but you could definitely set him up. Alright, so those are the ways that I would make a really awesome Fantastic Four movie. It really shouldn't be that difficult. Like I said, these guys have been around for 50 years. There's plenty of really good stories out there to mine. Now, I'm not saying this needs to happen right now after the bad taste that the latest movie has left in people's mouths. Fantastic Four doesn't need to be restarted right now. However, it does deserve another shot. Alright, so that does it for this video. Please let me know what you think. Do you think I'm on the right track with making a really good Fantastic Four movie? What about you? What would you do to make a really good Fantastic Four movie? Make sure to comment down there. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Once again, I was Tony Polanco with The Comic Zone. I will see you all next time. Later.